The morning air was sharp with frost as the travelers rose beside the Ch3 river, where ice met forest in a delicate, shifting boundary. The trees, dusted with snow, whispered softly in the northern wind, and the distant mountains cast long, jagged shadows across the frozen plains. Ch3 walked with the children and apprentices, his eyes attuned to the subtle movements of the land. "Today," he said, his voice low yet carrying through the quiet, "we will learn from the moose. Watch how it moves, how it listens, how it observes. There is wisdom in silence and power in patience." The children leaned forward, curious. Anna whispered, "Moose? They're so big and slow." "Yes," Ch3 replied, "but their size is marked by awareness. Their slowness is deliberate. Every movement is careful. They listen to the forest, the wind, the tracks in the snow. They survive by observing, by waiting, and by responding at the right moment." As they walked, the group noticed a faint set of tracks leading off the main trail. The snow had been disturbed by the passage of a large animal, but something else caught their attention. Tiny, hesitant prints beside the larger ones. Ch3 knelt, tracing the smaller tracks with his fingers. "This," he said softly, "is the sign of a child in need. The forest speaks even through the footprints. Notice how the moose moves near the child, shielding it from danger, guiding without forcing. Listen, observe, and you will understand." The travelers followed the tracks deeper into the forest, where the snow was thicker, the light dimmer, and the wind carried the distant murmur of running water. There, among the spruce and birch, they found a young child who had wandered from a nearby lodge, shivering and frightened. Ch3 knelt beside the child, brushing snow from her furs and wrapping her more securely in blankets. "Do you see the moose?" he asked, gesturing toward a ridge where a massive animal stood silently, observing the scene. The moose's ears swiveled, nostrils flaring as it inhaled the crisp forest air. Its eyes were calm, attentive, unbroken in focus. The children watched, mesmerized, as the moose shifted its weight slightly, then turned and disappeared quietly into the forest, leaving the path clear and safe. "The moose teaches patience and awareness," Ch3 continued. "It does not rush, yet it is always present. It protects without force, guides without speaking. The child sees this even if she does not yet understand. And we, too, must move with awareness, responding not with haste, but with understanding and care." The apprentices copied his words carefully, recording the lesson in their birch boards. The children, while too young to write, drew pictures in the snow, sketching the moose, the child, and the gentle gestures of the teacher. Ch3 whispered to Anna, "It's like listening with your whole body, not just your ears." "Yes," Anna replied, "and being careful not rushing into things that might hurt someone." Ch3 nodded approvingly. "Exactly. Awareness is the first step. Patience is the second. And when you combine the two, you can guide, heal, and protect. Strength is not always in force. It is often in stillness, in observation, in knowing when to act." The group remained by the river for the day, observing the moose as it moved through the forest, watching its careful interactions with the environment and the creatures around it. It paused near the edge of the ice, sniffed the air, and then turned toward a cluster of saplings, brushing them gently with its muzzle. Every movement was deliberate yet gentle, showing a balance between power and restraint. Ch3 guided the children in mimicking the moose's awareness. They moved slowly, listening to the wind, observing the tracks in the snow, noting the distant sounds of the forest and pausing before making any sudden movements. Even the sled dogs adjusted, sensing the quiet attentiveness that had settled over the travelers. As night approached, the child who had wandered earlier sat close to the teacher, her furs wrapped tightly. She looked up at Yahajua, eyes wide and trusting. "Will the moose come again?" she asked. Yahajua smiled gently. "Perhaps, but remember the lesson is not in seeing the moose again. The lesson is in what it taught you: patience, awareness, and careful observation. Carry that in your heart and you will find guidance even when the moose is not near." The children nodded, absorbing the meaning, not through words alone, but through the rhythm of their movements, the quiet of the forest, and the trust they felt in the teacher's presence. Tahu whispered, "It's like the bear and the salmon. They all teach in different ways, but the lesson is the same. Patience and care are stronger than force." Yahajua's eyes gleamed in the dim light. Yes, each teacher, each animal, each experience offers a part of the whole. Strength, patience, perseverance, awareness, they are threads in the same tapestry. Observe carefully, and you will see the patterns unfold. That night, as the northern light swirled above the river and forest, the children dreamed of the moose, standing silently among the trees, guiding the lost child to safety. They felt a quiet sense of calm and confidence, knowing that observation and patience could carry them through challenges, heal fears, and protect those they loved. The aura above seemed to mirror the calm strength of the moose, stretching across the sky like a living reminder of the lesson. Elder Ch3 watched the children and apprentices, a quiet smile on his face. "The light has brought us many teachers," he whispered, "and yet each lesson flows into the next. Today we learned from the moose. Tomorrow we will learn from the seasons, the river, the animals, and the land. Every step, every observation, every breath is a teaching. And the children are learning to walk with eyes open, hearts attentive, and spirits aligned with the light." The forest whispered around them, wind through branches, ice creaking softly under snow, distant rivers murmuring beneath frozen sheets. And in the quiet of the northern night, the children and apprentices understood that the teachings were not merely stories. They were patterns of life, lessons in being present, and the unfolding of wisdom that would carry them for generations.